So if you've seen some of my recent videos where I was showing this setup with two cameras right in the palm of your own hand, I wanted to show what that footage actually looks like. So right now I'm recording on the Osmo Pocket 3 up top, and down low, this is a GH6. It could be really whatever camera you want, but the whole idea of this is that you have a top camera, your wide angle, that's doing all the work for you as far as focusing and tracking and following, and then you can get close-up action shots with the lower camera. Again, in this case, it's the GH6. So I can just focus on this bottom camera, which is the main LCD here, this Shinobi. That's what you see there. You don't really see the small camera all that much, but it's doing a great job just following a face. Once you enable face tracking, it can do everything you need. So I can move around, I can pitch, I can tilt, I can do whatever I need down low, and that top camera, because it's a gimbal, stays focused and on subject. So it really allows me to operate like I normally would, where I'm just worried about one camera, but I have the safety of that top camera. Now, the problem in this scenario is that the top camera, the Osmo Pocket 3, is DJI, and it's filming in D-Log. It is 10-bit, but that's a different color profile, different color science than the Lumix camera, which is filming right now in V-Log. I do have a display LUT on here, so you can kind of see the proper color, but I will have to do some work in post-production getting these two to match. Now, in a little bit, I'll show you this other camera setup, which achieves a similar result using two cameras that match a lot closer. So color correction is not as much of an issue, but there's some problems that we'll get into with that one. But in this current setup, you can see what I'm filming. Thank you, David, for modeling and making a peanut butter jelly banana sandwich. This could be really any action, but it tends to be that humans kind of operate in this, I don't know, waist height with their hands a lot of times for a lot of the stuff that we're filming. So you have this low angle for close-up details. It makes cutting a lot easier because you're not having to match a face. That's one of the hardest things about editing sometimes, is if you have two shots of someone's face, if they're making a different expression, oftentimes that can be very, very challenging to match in editing. Where if you're just focused on action down low, there's all sorts of stuff you can cover while still keeping that top angle. Now, every once in a while, I will, glance up there at the Osmo to make sure that my framing is what I want and that it's doing the right thing. But you can see I can get real close. It's gonna stay in focus. What's cool about this, again, because that's a gimbal up top, I can be very aggressive with my tilting, my panning, and whatever I need to do down low to focus on action, while that top camera is just always gonna have the right thing, because again, it's face tracking. Makes it really, really easy. Now, if you wanted to go with a setup that was a little bit easier to match in post-production as far as color goes, here I have two Lumix cameras. The top camera is a G9 Mark II. That has the new phase hybrid autofocus from Lumix. So autofocus up here, a lot more reliable than the Lumix cameras have been in the past. And down low, I have another GH6. One cool thing that a lot of people may or may not know, and you might have seen me doing this already, is I'm using this autofocus on back button here. So even though I'm in manual focus with my bottom camera, this AF on basically puts the lens into autofocus, achieving autofocus a lot easier than fiddling with your manual focus, but it's not running autofocus. You can see I still have manual focus set here. Now, the advantage to using this setup is that you've got two cameras that match exactly, but you lose the gimbal functionality. So unfortunately, my pitch, my tilt, my panning is not as pristine as it might be with the gimbal version. So I can follow action, but you'll see all that top camera is doing is tracking the face for autofocus, but it's not tilting and panning like it would be on the DJI. So there are some limitations as far as how you film with this type of setup. One of the advantages of these Lumix cameras is that I can film an open gate. So even if my tilt isn't exactly right, I can always adjust that in post-production by shifting the frame up or down, because I have that extra vertical resolution that I would lose if I was shooting 16:9. Right now, this is open gate, so I'm filming 4:3. And I have extra pixels up and down. So if I'm focused here down low and I want to adjust either my bottom camera or my top camera, I can easily do that in editing just by shifting the frame up or down and achieving a more proper composition than what I might have to be forced to film, because everything's fixed. Again, there's no tilt, there's no pan. These cameras are both fixed where they're at, but the nice thing is, and what's better about this than just punching into let's say you were filming 8K or something super high resolution, punching in, you will only have that one limited perspective. Whereas this, because the lenses are offset, you do get quite a different perspective or angle on your footage. So it doesn't look like a punch in. It looks like a second shooter right there. Even though I'm only in one spot here, like that's fine. Yeah, obviously I can't go across the room and film from over there. But as far as achieving 2 angles with one person, this works really, really well. And again, the benefit of using the Lumix system is that color matches. Of course, you could film a chip chart, with color, so you can get it to match a little bit better between the DJI Osmo and the Lumix camera, or whatever camera systems you're running. None of this is exclusive to Lumix. There are some advantages like filming open gate that Lumix is uniquely suited for, but you could do this with Canon, you could do this with Sony. You just need to make sure that that top camera has really good autofocus. And in the case of the Osmo, it actually takes it one step further and makes tracking so much better, so much easier than having the fixed cameras. So pick your poison. What's your preference? Do you want to have color match easily, or do you want your subject to be framed a little bit better right out the gate? Both systems work well. It just depends on what your priorities are and what you're trying to achieve. Thank you again, David, for filming or making a peanut butter and jelly. Let me know if you have any questions. I think I covered mostly everything. These were both set up not in their ultimate form. You can run timecode in sync with Tentacle Sync. Believe it or not, the Pocket 3 will actually take timecode in. Now it does act a little different than the timecode on these other cameras. I'm not quite sure why that is. I don't know if it's a firmware issue or something like that, but it can accept timecode, and you can run Tentacle Sync audio to the Osmo 3 as well. I just don't have it rigged up with that cabling just yet, just out of convenience to make these kind of simple, streamlined. Of course, you can add more monitors and rig these out however you like. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. It's an easy way to get a lot out of one person's time and effort, especially nowadays when we're trying to do so much with so little in certain situations. This makes it really, really easy to just get what you want, get what you need. It also means there's only one person on set, which sometimes if space is limited, budget's limited, it's helpful to just have one person, not a whole crew and army showing up, a whole second person filming. This is the type of thing you can do all by yourself for, relatively low cost. I don't want to say it's cheap. This is not cheap equipment, but it's not as expensive as things used to be. I'm pretty happy with the results, as long as you factor in all those limitations and you can make it work.